I'll remember now to sound check, and hopefully you can hear me okay. So it's like turning over a new leaf here by asking right away. And there'll be a little bit of a delay, I think. Somebody had asked me recently about the time delay between chat and the live stream, and there is a little bit of a delay. And I'm starting early, not as early as I'd like to, but starting early. So, hey there, Bill J. Oh, clear picture. That's good. And hello to Suzanne. Oh, we got Brooke. Hey there. Colette, Bill B. How you doing? Big hello to Fred as well. Bonjour, Paul. Hello, Emma. And then Ruth. Thank you for your comment on my fill-in DMP the other day, Ruth. I appreciated that. I don't think I've gotten a chance to officially acknowledge that as me, but I saw it while I was logged into Jeff's account. And I think I said hi to Suzanne. If I didn't, hello again. I think I... Oh, and Brian Sweeney, hello. All right. And then Fred sent me a picture of his view of the totality of the eclipse on Monday. You can always send me a picture that from what you saw. I should post mine too. Thanks to my girlfriend got us the lens covers and glasses and everything for that. So I think we saw 80-ish% obscuration or whatever the appropriate term was, but it got to about 80%. And we were in the White Sands National Park. And White Sands is a national park now. It was a national monument for a very, very long time, but it's been a national park for like 5 years. I didn't know that. So, Suzanne, yeah, lots of clouds. That's so we did get some clouds as well at White Sands, and we had Air Force planes flying around us as well. So it was pretty interesting. So. Okay, so if you don't know who I am, my name is Andrew Leonards. I am a certified mindfulness meditation coach. Yeah, and I didn't witness the total eclipse though, which is that thing that everybody talks about, Fred. So that part we didn't. Although we were sitting on the sand dunes at White Sands, and even with the partial eclipse, everything got really cool really fast. So yeah, I know, Ruth. Totality or go home. It really is the case. We have a friend who lives in Toronto, who is also a Torontonian. I think that's the appropriate demonym. Who had the totality from like the front of their like house. They were like, so similar to folks in Ohio. I definitely appreciated the invite that you offered to everyone on the DMP the Sunday night. I thought that was quite an awesome community move. And hello to Lynn. So I was starting to introduce myself, but I'm Andrew. I'm a certified mindfulness meditation coach. Folks will know me from the Do Nothing Project as a sometimes fill-in for Jeff and oftentimes chat moderator. And this month we're sort of meditation is in the cards or some other dad joke pun. So we've last time I like started just talking about unified mindfulness techniques, and I think that was more confusing to everyone. So what I will say this time to try to make it a little bit simpler. So I've pulled out I've got just spades, the suit spades minus the face cards and the ace, because I haven't figured out what to do with those yet. And what we've got here basically is 9 variations of techniques. And hello, Lynn. Welcome. So we got 2 Lyns, double Lyns tonight. Hello. Hopefully the future is treating you well, Lynn. Lynn Carpenter is in Australia. I think it's Thursday at like 11 something. maybe it's later now actually, but my old time math, it would be 11:19. Okay, it is awesome. Good. Well, then I got something right today. Time is my favorite website for doing time comparisons. Oh, okay. So it's 10. Okay. So 10. So it's 10:19. Okay. Well, good morning on your Thursday morning. Let the future know we're coming. So the thing we were going to do this month was to I don't know what I was thinking. To mix it up, get things sassy, was to draw our technique. So we're gonna have a 25-minute sit. We'll finish with the do nothing part, or we'll finish with an opportunity to do nothing. As I will often say in the guidance, if you are enjoying the technique or you feel like you've gotten into a groove with the technique, you feel free to kind of blow past that final 5 minutes of thing and continue on your own. If you have your own practice, you're always welcome to that as well. This is, your Wednesday, middle of the week sort of opportunity for community and accountability and all that fun stuff. So what we'll do is I'll shuffle the cards and then we'll see what we're doing today. So the techniques that we're looking at is there's techniques around something called rest, and I'll explain that if we draw a card that's rest, and then something called flow. And then there's a technique that hopefully won't get me in trouble with my unified mindfulness friends, but Shinzen has a technique around noting the sort of disappearance of aspects of your sensory experience. So, maybe you heard a sound and that sound went away. So we'll see if we pull that card, but that's in there as well. So let's see here. What's this now? I had no idea, Emma, that you dealt in the wonderful world of JavaScript. So I, by trade and training, I think we talked about this last time. By trade and training, I am a software engineer, and I have done. Oh, you're front end engineer. Excellent. I should have known because you have a very nice avatar. I am a full stack engineer, but technically would like to be mostly a front end engineer. But yeah. So I write primarily in a programming language called Elm that compiles to JavaScript, and I like it a lot. So, but I have done plenty of JavaScript in my time. I've done plenty of Java. I've done plenty of Python and C# and functional languages, all sorts of stuff. All right, so we'll shuffle a little bit more, and then let's try and think of what else. I've got three. I have 3 1-month subscriptions to give away to Jeff's Substack, and that's that's not a perk from me being part of the Do Nothing Project. That's because I'm a supporter of Jeff's Substack, the Home Base with Jeff. And Substack is offering people that are subscribers or supporters a chance to give away 3 subscriptions. And so one of them is claimed, but if you're interested in a 1-month subscription to the Home Base with Jeff, if you want, let's see. Oh, so okay, you're already a supporter. Excellent. Yeah. So that would make sense. Yeah, okay. I was going to say there may be a bunch of us. Okay. Excellent. Well, this is okay as well. All right. I at least have 1 claimed. So if you want to make it fair, there are a lot of us. I'm going to let Jeff know that there's a high concentration of supporters on Wednesdays. If you are interested in getting a 1 month of that, go ahead and email me, and I'll use the email just that way. I have responses, so I can pick 3. Maybe I won't. Maybe everybody else will at least. Well, at least 1 is claimed. So excellent. Well, that's super awesome. And then I didn't even have to say don't forget to like, because we've already got 9 thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. And then I sent out a reminder, although today it was super late, and that had to do with just not being settled after travel. And but you can send, if you're not getting reminder emails and you want to get reminder emails, you can also send an email to that email address. I think everyone on here is on that list. So, and then hello to S. Quinn. I did not acknowledge S. Quinn. Sorry. Hopefully, and anyone else I may have forgotten to acknowledge. All right. Here is our technique. Feel rest. Oh my gosh. I didn't even do any, I can't do magic tricks, but this is actually the technique that I was hoping that we would get. So, at the end, if people are interested, we'll talk about the other techniques that are in here. But feel rest is one of my super big favorites. And so, there is, if you can think about the notion of techniques and the span of all the techniques, a lot of times we talk about techniques that are challenging for meditators. And at sometimes you got to have a technique that keeps you coming back when days are hard. And so for feel rest our category will be emotional body sensations and physical body sensations. So we're looking at feel in and feel out, but specifically we're looking at restful sensations. So these are pleasant sensations, and we may see sort of it's that notion of you can find rest often around slight movements. You can find a little bit of rest around the rib cage from breathing. You can find a little bit of pleasant sensation sometimes in the breath in different places. Yeah, so feeling the breath. Good question, Brooke. So those are areas. And then I will give you my like random thoughts about where I often will get restful sensations, but we're kind of looking for restful sensations. And then, and so if you feel, you get a little bit of, you may get activation. So you may get kind of a strong inhale, and then in that exhale, or the settling, the downward motion, as Jeff calls it, of the exhale, you'll often get a little bit of a restful sensation in the exhale. So, and then if you get pulled away by something that's outside of what we're focusing on, so restful body sensations or restful emotional sensations, then that's kind of okay, out of bounds, and then no big deal, and bringing it back to the body. And so finding some place that you like, a home base or a restful home base, if you will, is your sort of starting point for then looking for rest. So yeah, that's our technique. All right. So I have a bell. I have a clock, but it is not set appropriately. But it will be in a second here. And I will put 25 minutes on that. So, and then really quick, if you have a last second question of, if you want me to try to clarify rest anymore, I can try, although I may be making it more complicated. All right. So we'll start. I'm really just sort of settling in. I'll ring the bell, or invite the bell. So just beginning with setting up our posture. And like I remind often on Wednesdays, can be walking or standing, lying down, but I'm going to focus on the seated posture, either seated in a chair or seated in a cushion. You could be in a yoga pose too, all valid postures. Really just to begin with, kind of looking for an upright quality in the torso. So not sort of bolt upright in an uncomfortable way, but sort of a upright without being uptight quality. And then just kind of beginning here, just to check in to see what the sort of inner weather is like. Just beginning with what's already here. We're not chasing anything away or evicting any emotions or anything like that. We're just kind of figuring out, oh, okay, the body is like this now, the mood is like this. And then a few deliberate breaths. Slow and low is the tempo that we're going for, cribbing from the Beastie Boys. And just like there's a bit of a relaxed feeling after we've picked something heavy up and then put it down, that release of the exhale sometimes is this pleasant downward sensation. You may notice that as you breathe, you settle more into the posture with sort of each extended exhale. For some, we can kind of call up rest on demand by focusing on the breathing or the breath sensations or sort of pleasant sensations around the breath. But if that's not the case for you, that's no problem. If we don't have any restful sensations, we're going to focus on body sensations. And again, that could be physical sensations like the touch of the clothing on your skin, the pressure of your body and the posture. Or it could be emotional sensations. So being done at the end of the day or being able to put down a heavy thinking problem. So a bit of that mental release. And our pattern is the same. We're focusing on those sensations, pouring all of our attention in, and noting either where in the body or the whole body our attention is present, and then optionally labeling it feel. And if it's a restful sensation, we can use the label rest. And some quick modeling here before I let you explore on your own. So for me, noticing feel around my shoulders, feel my neck, feel a slight unease. And there's a bit of rest around kind of the lower back. Again, I'm noticing that, focusing, and then the mental label rest. And then the last thing, just a reminder, if you're in a situation where you can label out loud, that is one way to get a little bit more clarity. So you can use spoken labels. It's an option. All right. So feel rest. I'll let you explore on your own. So just a few pointers around if you as you get really kind of into a little bit of a restful groove, you may find that your habit is to drift into whatever your normal technique is. And so, since I do a lot of here out, the clock kind of draws my attention. And so, can I bring my attention back to the focus range, back to feel rest with as much care as possible? And it's really the fourth bit, the fourth skill that Jeff talks about, bringing care into the practice. And then if rest isn't available, knowing that you're really just looking for body sensations or emotional sensations in the body. So that's the focus range. And if rest is available, it's a bonus, but not a requirement. So I'll let you keep going. And then if you haven't found any rest just yet, sort of a stretching up into the posture, extending the posture, and then a settling back into your posture. You can do that a few times and see that if you do that, and as you begin to settle into stillness, sometimes you'll feel a little bit of a release and a little bit of rest around that, sort of the stretching up and settling in. And then the last thing to kind of notice, there may be a window where you see or you feel rest, and as you focus on the rest, sometimes it'll go away. It's sort of elusive. So again, not making that a problem and coming back to the body, being able to hold fast and anchor in the body. And the pleasant side of that equation is that as you focus on rest, you may find more and more rest. And so just seeing if you're able to be stable and kind of allow yourself to continue to focus. And again, if it goes away, no big deal. Come back to the body, come back to a pleasant sensation if it's available, and then start over. All right, so here's your opportunity. Again, if you want, you can continue to feel rest and continue with the technique. But if you want to shift into do nothing, this is your chance. And again, it's not just a sort of mind wandering sort of a thing. It's letting go of any of our intention to control our attention. And then if we notice that we're trying to sort of guide ourselves back to counting breaths or something, we let go of that. And if we do that 2 or 3 times, that's sort of what the mind wants to do, and kind of allowing that. So here's your opportunity to do nothing. Thank you for your practice. May any merit generated while we practice together today that was generated go to benefit all beings. Thank you for doing Feel Rest with me today. This is kind of a go-to technique for me often. So you'll hear meditation coaches say, like, we're not trying to change your experience. And hello to Dick Moffitt. Glad you made it. Oh, excellent. Great to hear Fred and Bill. You're incredibly welcome, Lynn. Thank you for making it this week, too. We missed you. Thank you, Emma. So the restful sensations to me are, they're kind of a nice thing to have. You can't always pull it off on demand. Sometimes you'll end up with, I've been asked in some dire situations, maybe would be a nice way to put it, to try to help family members sort of practice. And it's difficult to do this if you don't have a background in trying to apply the technique. What I was going to say is that meditation coaches will often tell you that we're not trying to change anything about our experience. And that is true, but sometimes we can find things that are already there. Often we're trying to not change our experience, but we're trying to shift or look at how we're relating to our experience. And that's a little bit of the twist in the meditation coaches and teachers saying that. You're incredibly welcome, Colette. Felt like restful sleep. Nice. So that you had that alert, aware and alert feeling. I think I've lost this video now, but relaxed and alert is the, and it sounds funny saying this because now basic is kind of a slight, but relaxed and alert is the basic meditative state. Yes, a discernment within our experience. That's another way to put that as well. Very articulate, Paul. I like that. The relaxed alert. I think aware and alert is also another excellent way to look at that. So what was in the deck? So one of the things that we haven't had a chance to do yet is talk about flow. And so one of the techniques that Shinzen does a lot with is noticing change. And so really, when we're talking about flow, it's the aspect of experience changing. So the ticking clock is a really good example of something that is like sort of is arising and passing away. If you've an excellent point there too, Fred. There's I don't know who, I think it's an anonymous or sort of a traditional Japanese Zen quote, but the sound of the rain needs no translation, I believe, is a comment. You'll hear it. I've heard it dropped into Alan Watts lectures. Successful nap. That is excellent, Emma. Naps should be appreciated in meditation. So I think that's always something to keep in mind. That if you get a little bit of a successful nap, that's sort of perfection to a certain degree. But so that sound of gentle rain, the something along those lines, you get. So we can think about those too. So we did feel rest. You could flip that, and the sound of the rain could be hear rest. So that's a pleasant, restful sensation. There's a little bit of a line here. Some people talk about can classical music be hear rest? I'm not so much about that, but you can mindfully listen to music, but that's more of an informal practice, not necessarily a formal practice. And then see rest is, I've only had the chance to do this once in Arizona. We actually had snowfall, and I propped myself up against propped my cushion out our sliding glass window and watched the snow gently fall on our back in our backyard. And that would be an example. So if you have some sort of sensation, see rest is another thing. Jeff will mention this occasionally, that the pattern that you see when your eyes are closed, the sort of that's referred to as a Gansfeld pattern, that is one that you could use. That's one you could use C rest for. All rest would be all of the categories. So if you were to do see, hear, feel, but you're looking for rest in any of the three sensations, I just mentioned hear rest. That was one of the other cards. And then flow, we'll talk a little more about flow next time, maybe. But those are the other options. And then the last thing, and then I'll let you go because it's almost the top of the hour. Just note gone is kind of considered an advanced technique in Shinzen's world. But it's this idea that we'll have a sensation and it arises and then it drops away. And just note gone is noticing that dropping away of a sensation. And we can think about, if we're focusing on change, like on flow as a change as our focus, we'll see some things will drop away. And being sensitive to or tuning our sensory clarity to those departures in things can be really helpful. And so there is a piece, and I can't remember if it's in Tricycle or another magazine, but Shinzen has an article in one of those you can find online, and it's called Just Note Gone, and he makes the case for that being the only technique that he would teach someone if he had only one technique to give. So let's see the pulsing. Okay, so tingling and pulsing, that rhythm, if there's a pleasant sensation around it, we could say that could be used in feel rest. So if it's pleasant, if it's not pleasant, so it's neutral and or maybe on the more towards the side of uncomfort or uncomfortable discomfort, we could use that as in a flow and focus on the change around it as a type of flow. And so that would be something that you could look at. Is that's the tip line between feel rest and feel flow. Noticing the presence and absence, very, very good call. So folks know that Brooke is in teacher training. So noticing presence and absence, that's what noticing or just note gone is looking at, the arising of something and the passing away of it. So Shinzen's techniques, he's always taking something that's naturally occurring within either the Buddhist or Hindu cosmology, and then putting it into a more modern mindfulness framing. And so kudos, gold star to Brooke on that the noticing the presence or absence, that's that articulation or the sensitivity that you're getting for sensory clarity. And then again, I mentioned in the thing, Jeff talks about 4 skills, Shinzen talks about 3. So it's clarity, that's our sensory clarity, concentration and equanimity, and Jeff adds in the 4th one, which is care. So all right, it's 1 minute past. Thanks so much for all of the thumbs up. And again, if you want 1 month free of, and you didn't want to answer that you weren't a supporter yet, and you want 1 month free from Homebase, you can go ahead and email me. All right, I'll see you on Sunday, and then I'll see you a week from now. We'll do more random draws. So, all right, have a great night. Thank you.